Welcome back to the very first Unforgiven. Jimmie Allen and Mike Sweeney with you here on Analyzing Attitude this week. Mike, a very lackluster build, in my opinion, up to this pay-per-view. We're pushing the Inferno match between Kane and The Undertaker, which is why I'm lit red this week. A little bit more than the WWF Championship picture because it's been more about Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin than it's been about Dude Love versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's been a rushed 2 weeks, but they've got here. We're going to get the match in the ring tonight. This is a very lackluster, doesn't really finish a lot of storyline pay-per-views. We'll give our grade at the end of this. I was left a little underwhelmed by the end of this one.
It was, as we were kind of saying before we went on the air here, it was a very long 2 hours.
Yeah.
I personally didn't find anything I really hated about the show other than that's not true. I did hate some things about the show, but it's very, paying by the numbers, run of the mill, first pay-per-view after Mania. And it pretty much going forward with whoever's feuding with Austin for the next year or so, Vince is the bigger catalyst behind it. So it's kind of a death spot for some of these contenders.
Yeah, and basically the pay-per-view starts off as much. We start off by highlighting the Inferno match. It's Freddie Blassie reading inputs from Dante's Inferno, just peeling The Undertaker versus Kane and really giving us a recap of what this match has been. This feud is leading up to this match, and it's been dead parents and graveyard scenes, and then they cap it off by giving us WWF presents Unforgiven in your house by 10-10-2-20, which took all the belief out of it, and it was a really cool open that I thought the sponsorship of the pay-per-view kind of ruined the moment.
Very tarnished, yeah, and like the hokey, like it seemed like the old WrestleMania music, like the
the music didn't match what they're trying to accomplish. Yeah, I agree.
Right. It was a stellar opening, but it was Vince. So,
and we get Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross on commentary, and this is really, we've seen Michael Cole and Kevin Kelly, but this is really the beginning of Jerry Lawler being a permanent spot next to Jim Ross. I think only one other pay-per-view for the remainder of this year doesn't go that way because of a fit of Bell's palsy with Jim Ross. But Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are on commentary, and they remind us that Vince McMahon has promised something catastrophic is going to happen this on this evening. In the pre-show, Jim Ross was alluding to that basically everything that's been alluded to, even by Vince McMahon himself, that Vince was going to try to screw Stone Cold Steve Austin out of the WWF Championship tonight, to the point that Vince came out before the show and made JR apologize.
Yeah. Just to touch real quick on JR and King doing commentary, tonight's when I really felt like their chemistry was, in the limelight here, because those two back and forth tonight was one of the things I really did enjoy about the show. But yes, Vince making JR apologize, and JR's talking about it throughout the show, how he didn't really mean it. Let her sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, no. It's a staple of the Attitude Era, though. These two guys together, and the way they play off each other, you could tell that they not only they enjoy each other's company, they enjoy being the foil to each other as well. Jim Ross is the perfect face commentator, and I think Jerry Lawler, even for his shortcomings about the sexualization of women and everything else that what goes along with him, is the perfect heel for it too. He doesn't have very many redeeming qualities.
Correct, and he knows the right spots to needle JR and get a raise out of JR, and it makes for good TV.
Yeah, and listen, we started off hot too. This has been one of the best builds. Really, even since the Royal Rumble has been the Nation versus Ken Shamrock, and now it's turned into the Nation versus Farooq. We get the 6-man tag, which is the Nation, and then Kama on the outside of those guys versus Farooq and Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman. Now, it's a very strange bedfellows combination putting Farooq with those two, because the Nation has been feuding with Ken Shamrock really since the end of November, and Farooq being a big part of that, but now is really being pushed as a face, but kind of square peg round hole.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was kind of off about it, but maybe the enemy, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. And but the funny thing is about those three coming out, they all came out to Ken Shamrock's music, and it just feels like any one of those three that music would fit for. They just all look like three tough badasses.
Fantastic pop too. I mean, listen, people are still digging Ken Shamrock in a big way.
For sure.
But this weird thing, like the Nation comes out and they're all kind of doing different poses, but they don't strike the fist. Farooq, Ken Shamrock, and Steve Blackman come out and they strike the fist. Now, this is weird for a lot of reasons. It's the second time they've done this. But Farooq in his opening promo when he formed the Nation talked about it being a symbolization of the Black Panthers. Steve Blackman and Ken Shamrock, famously white guys. Just very, very confusing.
They do have a rich history of being on the Caucasian side. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe both are black belts, and that's where they thought this could fit. I don't know. But the guy that's a staple of tonight is Mark Eaton, the timekeeper for the WWF, and The Rock hands him the Intercontinental Championship and gives him the fake backhand that he kind of does to a lot of the commentators over the years as well. But we're going to see a lot of Mark Eaton tonight, and I don't know if he got a big payday for this pay-per-view. I hope he did. But D'Lo and Steve Blackman start this off, and there's this new energy for whatever reason. Ever since Stone Cold won the WWF Championship, there's some new energy from guys, even guys that were on the show beforehand, specifically these two guys. I mean, these guys are bouncing from pillar to post for each other in this, and even when Ken Shamrock gets in, gets another massive pop, it just feels like people are going out and trying to steal the show at this point.
Yes, and I think a good reason for that too is they're actually just keeping with the people that the audience has some sort of investment in, not the DOA characters or the Los Boricuas or Truth Commission or any of that. It's actual people that's been feuding with each other. So we're actually getting some sort of payoff in these kind of things, and I think that's why they work so well with each other.
Yeah, listen, Ken Shamrock gets the tag here, as I mentioned. Jim Ross tells us that people think Ken Shamrock was the king of the Octagon. Dan Severn may have some disagreement with that, so still planting that seed out there. Remember, they're both 1-1 against each other in the Octagon, and they were teasing that feud just a week ago on Raw. But Shamrock gets the tag in to Farooq, and he goes in against D'Lo, and there's this moment where they don't really want to feud against each other, and Farooq basically panders back and forth about not wanting to fight each other and asking to get The Rock to come in. D'Lo says, like, listen, it wasn't my idea, it was his. And when Farooq turns, D'Lo palms him right in the face.
Oh, yeah.
And this sets Farooq off. He pummels him and beats him down. He pulls a belt out of his tights and just starts whipping him with him. I thought this was great.
Yes. I like how they're playing into the fact that, it wasn't just The Rock and Farouk's feud that was that happened and the relationship's tarnished. It's D'Lo too. It's Kama too. It's Mark Henry too. So, and just to have D'Lo being that little wormy chicken shit youngster, try to get one up on the veteran, and Ron Simmons giving him his awesome comeuppance in the form of a belt to ass.
Yeah, and it was great, man. I mean, D'Lo really bumped for everybody really well in this match, and I think you're starting to see the seeds being planted for him getting his well-deserved raise in the card here coming up by the end of this year as well. But Mark Henry gets tagged in, Steve Blackman gets tagged back in, and Mark Henry ragdolls Blackman in this. And listen, I mean, he's the world's strongest man, clearly by size. Mark Henry has a massive advantage, but I thought it was great how Steve Blackman almost was kind of the whipping boy here in this match for the Nation guys, and D'Lo did the same thing for the other side. Yes. It just really showcased a lot of guys. And Mark Henry, who's still very green in this, you see a moment where Farooq gets tagged in where he kind of has to talk Mark Henry through this whole thing. But The Rock eventually gets tagged in, and him and Farooq just had this awesome chemistry together. And I like that Farooq also bumped for D'Lo earlier in the match. He hit that awesome sit-out powerbomb. But anytime it was Farooq and The Rock together, it was just massive chemistry.
Yes, and you can tell there was definitely that mentor-mentee relationship going on between them. And I was also going to note too, like how much inner. Oh, sorry. I did want to point one thing out here. This is like the first time you could really see that inner confidence in The Rock. Like he knows he has it. And he's it's just the machismo and the swagger that he conveys, and I think it helps knowing he's in there with people like Farooq.
And that helps, man. Having somebody you can trust that you know's got your best interest at heart. You're giving them their body's got to help out a ton. Rock tags in Mark Henry here, and like I mentioned, you just kind of see how green he is earlier in the match with Farooq, having to walk him through it. Him and Farooq get back in here, and you see Mark Henry drop an elbow, and he gets up and drops another one. He goes to drop a third one, and Farooq kind of, you can even see Ron Simmons kind of do this with his hands, like, where are we going with this, man? Like, figure it out. But, it was another case for Mark Henry to showcase his strength, because Steve Blackman gets tagged in, and The Rock comes in after Mark Henry kind of gets his stuff in. And you talked about the machismo, and Rock goes for the people's elbow, and instead of giving the crowd what they want, he gives them the wave off and then drops the elbow. Just playing a little bit more to that cocky heel role.
Was that the first people's elbow?
No, this is like this is the one since we've been reviewing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're probably right. I don't know why.
He's doing it so far and few in between that every time feels like a big moment. I think it's a great idea. I mean, even to the point that we're 28 episodes into reviewing this, he's done it a couple times, that each one feels like a big deal, right?
Right. And I think maybe the piss off to the crowd that kind of helped there.
Sure. D'Lo gets tagged in and goes for a moonsault and misses it. Farooq gets the hot tag from Steve Blackman, and then everyone from the apron just comes in, and this weird moment happens where The Rock hits the DDT, and both Steve Blackman and Ken Shamrock got the upper hand, but jump out of the ring anyway, despite their tag team partner being in trouble. But Farooq gets the counter after he kicks out of the DDT, and then hits a Dominator out of nowhere. No build to the finish here, but gets the win. And then Kama gets up on the apron, and he gets a cheap shot in on Kama as well, just allowing the former leader of the Nation to kind of get his hands on all four guys here.
I don't like the outcome. I really do think The Rock should have got the win on this, or the Nation, via The Rock getting the pinfall.
I agree.
The Rock's been eating a lot of shit from Shamrocks the last two pay-per-views.
He's technically been beat by him both times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about No Way Out too, with the 8-man schmoz. So he has not been. Oh, that wasn't him. It was. Yeah, they had a few different 8-man.
Well, we had the brass knuckles situation. We had the schmoz situation. So I mean, he's basically losing every time. But this is the time that he actually takes the loss in the record books, I guess. Michael Cole interviews Farooq after this, and he says this is a long war of him kicking his in front of The Rock's ass and the rest of them. It's really not. No. This ends rather quickly, but I mean, I guess Farooq has been left laying after they jumped him outside. He just had the broken ribs. He got the win over Kama on Raw. So I mean, it kind of feels like they're experimenting with, can we make Ron Simmons a solo act as a face? And I think the answer is unequivocally no.
No, not at this point.
Not at this point. Yeah,
not with the characters you have alongside of him, and it's just nothing against Ron. It's just it's other people's time at this point.
Speaking of those people's times, we come back from a ad break, and Stone Cold Steve Austin is coming to the ring, and Jim Ross says, "I don't have this on my lineup. He's not expected to come out here." Austin comes out and grabs the aforementioned Mark Eaton and throws him into the ring and says, "Last week you rang the bell when Vince asked you to, didn't you?" And Mark Eaton says, I rang the bell when I was told to, Steve. And Steve Austin tells him to put a little bit of bass in his voice because he's starting to piss him off. And he says, if Vince McMahon screws me out of this title tonight, after I get done beating his ass up and down every one of these aisles in this building, I'm going to do the same to you. And Mark Eaton starts shaking noticeably. And he says, so you can do this one of two ways. Vince McMahon may fire you and you can get another job, but I don't think you can get another life. Austin says, if Dude Love is good enough to beat me for this title tonight, I don't give a damn. But if Vince McMahon screws me, you're both going to get your ass whooped. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. And it's just more of an unhinged rattlesnake, and this crowd's eating it up.
Man, I liked every bit of it. I was confused at first. I was like, are we really going to do a Stone Cold promo before his main event match tonight on the pay-per-view? But
sure.
But then, yeah, it all came together with the timekeeper after the finish on Monday Night Raw. So, it was done and for like what it needed to do for the kind of to close the gap for the ending of the show.
I think it was needed, man. It felt like it was totally needed.
For sure.
What was not needed was the fourth iteration of Owen Hart versus Triple H. But guess what? We're getting it next anyway. And we did this at the Royal Rumble where Chyna was handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter. And now we're going to put her in the shark cage. So it's like I get it. We're adding the Chyna element to the match. But if we're going to put her in a shark cage, do we really need to let her escape? Spoiler alert, that's what happens here. I mean, we're almost 5 minutes into the start of this match. Well, the start. I mean, both participants are at ringside, and it takes them 5.5 minutes to get China in the cage, with Helmsley arguing about it happening when it was solidified 3 weeks ago. This was going to be a thing.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think, from the start of this segment, and I'm counting like entrances and all to like even after the match, I think this was the longest segment in the whole show
of nothingness. Yeah,
and all it really showed is Triple H's and DX are the bad guys, but nobody wants to boo them, and no one really cares about Owen Hart's push at this point because
it's already killed.
Yeah, and I mean, oh yes, we get it. China strong. Shark cage. I hate shark cages. They
don't add anything. No, the person in the cage always gets out, and it does nothing.
No.
This was a little dangerous though, because I mean, we'll fast forward to basically Owen jumps Hunter on the outside, and this match starts with Owen being the good guy, jumping and cheap shotting the bad guy here. But China essentially every 30 seconds is being cut back to it. She's pulling the bars and pulling the bars. Eventually gets them pulled apart, and then she tries to get out of the cage before it lowers while Owen has Hunter in the sharpshooter. And then we see the Road Dogg lower the cage. But, man, she is hanging from that cage for 2 minutes and 20 seconds, like just hanging and dangling there. She's easily 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, very, very agile. Like, she looks like she's not even, like, sweating at all. Like,
yeah, but it was pretty scary, man. Like,
oh, yeah.
But essentially, she gets down, and we see Road Dogg lowering the cage, and that's how she's able to get out, and it distracts Owen. Owen Hart hits Hunter with the pedigree, goes for the cover, and X-Pac comes out of nowhere with a fire extinguisher, hits Owen in the back of the head, rolls Hunter on top of him. Hunter gets the win again, and obviously we're going to pivot away from these two guys, but this just felt like another nothing match for no reason.
I felt like the Mania match was it. Like, they didn't need to do anymore, and I guess they weren't done, pissing on Owen's babyface push. So.
Yeah, Michael Cole interviews him afterward, and Owen drops the infamous promo where he says, "Enough is enough, and I've had it up to here with this bullshit. It has to stop." And Jim Ross has to apologize for the language. Jim, we're on pay-per-view. You can cuss. It's fine.
The dude just got screwed over in the shark cage match, hit with a fire extinguisher, and now he's like JR's shaming him. Oh, yeah. Can't condone that.
Jim Ross lets us know that the record has been set in Greensboro for a wrestling event. 21,474 fans is the record inside the Greensboro Coliseum, which has seen multiple NWA world title matches, which is why we get what we get next. Jim Cornette is introduced by Howard Finkel as Mr. NWA, and Corny comes out and gets booed, and JR says that there was a rumor of an extra match. There didn't need to be an extra match. No. This was nothing. We get the new Midnight, Bodacious Bart and Bodacious Bob and Bombastic Bart, who Jim Cornette introduces as every schoolgirl's dream and every mother's worst nightmare, which I thought was a great line.
Yeah.
But the new Midnight gets exactly zero response.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock and Roll Express were as over as anybody in the NWA in the 80s, and they barely get a response as well. This goes 6 minutes. The highlight was Tim White and Jim Cornette getting pulled apart by the tag teams. They don't even throw punches. It was a nostalgia act, and Jim Ross tells us as much. The Midnight win, or the Midnight win. Okay,
I don't know why we needed this. I thought
we didn't.
I know the new Midnight has been around for a bit now, but I thought they took care of the Rock and Roll Express a month ago.
They did,
or whatever it was, and I enjoyed the concert that we get later on than I did this match.
I agreed, by the way. We cut backstage to Luna, and she's with Doc Hendricks and Goldust, and she says, "We're gonna find out where they got the. They're gonna find out who's the real star tonight." And I think we found out where we got Gollum's voice from, because Luna sounds just like Schmeagol here. She says that she's here to strip every piece of clothing off of Sable, and she'll be left in the ring like a newborn. Doc Hendricks says he said it at ringside because he wants to watch this in person. Listen, Sable comes out, and the crowd loses it. And Jim Ross says, "You'd think Ric Flair just walked out or something." Man, he's not wrong.
No,
this is about as over as Rover, brother.
There's only one pop bigger than hers tonight, and that's at the very end of the show. So I mean, this match did not need to happen at all, but the runtime of it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, listen, it was short and sweet. There's no Mark Merrow at the beginning of this, and Jarrett says because he's embarrassed to be a part of this, and King says he wants to know why these morons in the crowd are rooting for Sable, because clearly King's got a pick in this one. They cat fight for a while, and Luna rips off Sable's bottoms, and I mean, she's got a purple thong on, and everybody's enjoying the view. And Jim Ross goes, I reckon that's the lower half, and the lower half of this is over. Yeah. King is losing his mind and going nuts here. Jim Ross says he must be a lonely guy. King says, hey, sex is the best thing money can buy. This does not age well.
So
Mark Merrow comes down and distracts Sable and Luna rips off her top, and everybody got what they paid for, I guess, including Sable, because my God. Sable hits a Sable bomb on Luna. Luna runs under the ring, and Sable follows her and comes out, and she's ripped off everything Luna was wearing, including her undergarments. Luna pops out, and Goldust wraps her in a robe and takes her off. They show Sable, and JR goes, this is the part of the tape where you hit pause and rewind over and over again, folks.
Yes. When he said that, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that they were, doing masturbation implications back then.
Jim, you probably weren't wrong, though.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, you're right. Like her implants look like they had implants.
Yeah, that doctor earned his money, brother.
Right.
we get a course of booze as Sable is walking up the ramp because Vince McMahon is coming out. Apparently, he needed a close-up look himself. JR had to apologize to Vince in the pre-show for accusing Vince of potentially trying to screw Stone Cold out, as we mentioned earlier, and Jerry Lawler's asking if Vince is coming back out here to get another apology from JR. And Vince says something catastrophic is going to occur tonight, and that could mean anything. He says this is the World Wrestling Federation, and anything can happen in the WWF. He said there's a conspiracy going around that he's here to screw Stone Cold Steve Austin out of the WWF Championship tonight. But he said the real reason he's here is because not too long ago, his mother had the privilege of giving birth to him right here in North Carolina, and it's nice to be home. What a line.
So he too is a North Carolinian native.
Yeah, and listen, I think this is the first time in his career this gets acknowledged because of the history of the NWA in North Carolina. But he said screwing someone out of the WWF title is below his dignity, and he will not even address that. Keep in mind, we're 4 months removed from the Montreal Screwjob. Vince says he will not be held responsible for anything that happens tonight if Stone Cold Steve Austin is screwed out of the title. And Jim Ross says, there's something about a time-honored tradition in here. Great line.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
They got to, address it. And, like, they got so much publicity off that Montreal Screwjob that even 4 months later, they're still cashing in on it. I mean, and we all know they still cash in on it later and later and later in life. But, yeah.
Later this year.
Yeah.
Vince and the Stooges leave and head up the rampway. We get the tag team championship match, and I mean we've talked about it enough. This just feels so rinse and repeat, and this match is really no different.
Dude, Hawk just looked like he didn't give a shit one bit in this match.
Yeah, but listen, I think speaking of Animal, I think he looked the best he looked in his entire career in this match. I
think there was only one spot where he no-sold a couple rib shots, but he did fine. But just I don't know, Hawk. That's what I was meant to refer to as. He just didn't seem like he wanted to sell bump, and there was a disconnect where it felt like he was about to drop Billy Gunn a few times in this match.
Yeah, sure did.
I don't know.
Road Dogg comes out, gives us the "Oh, you didn't know" spiel, but he cuts his own music and makes a special introduction for Dean Smith, the former North Carolina head basketball coach coming out of retirement. Billy comes out for the 6th time in 8 weeks with a blow-up doll. This shtick has definitely run its course. But Road Dogg says they keep wrestling those old fossils, referring to the LOD, and he says they always come out on top and them on bottom, and that's not his sexual preference. The one-liners are good. But I mean, this match just sucks, dude. There's just no way around it.
I commend the Outlaws for trying, because they bumped their asses off of them, but I don't know. It's just there wasn't much to I don't know. We've seen it a million times, and it feels like it keeps getting worse and worse every time they wrestle.
like WCW gets away or gets a lot of flack for screwy finishes, but I mean we've already had the Owen Hart finish with an X-Pac run in, and like we have a finish here where Hawk hits a German suplex on Billy Gunn, and the official counts, and LOD celebrates as if they won. Their music hits, and then the ring announcer Howard Finkel says that the winners are the New Age Outlaws because Hawk's shoulders were down on the German suplex. When you see the replay, Hawk's shoulders clearly not down, neither one of them, and Road Dogg's are. And they give Jack Doan, the referee, a doomsday device here, and it gets a massive pop, which is fine. But we are now really, we won't even count the evening gown match, but we're 4 matches into this, and only one's had a legit finish. Just like it just feels completely pointless.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I don't know if they're just feeling like they can phone it in because they're in the post-Mania season. I mean, they shouldn't be because, you know, they're finally on the upswing after being in the tank for so long. But, man, I don't know. Like, you know, again with Hawk, I don't know if that was intentional, him leaving his shoulder up on because that was clearly supposed to be a double count, but it wasn't. And it just – and plus, like, couldn't we get any kind of, like – DX is getting up on the rise and doing their own thing now. Like, let's put the kibosh on the LOD feud and have them, I don't know, get somewhat of a proper win here and not this garbage.
Yeah, like I guess they're trying to extend storylines. It just feels like the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, however, we will see one later that I actually did not mind extending the storyline a little bit, and I'll get to that when it gets there. But this one I'm ready to be done with.
One storyline that didn't have a match, but the storyline gets extended is Jeff Jarrett's concert is tonight. Tennessee Lee comes out and introduces Jeff Jarrett, and I thought it was really weird how much that Tennessee Lee looked like Billy Gunn's father here. Lee introduces Sawyer Brown and says they'll be singing backup to Double J tonight, the world's greatest entertainer. And Mark Miller, the lead singer of Sawyer Brown, is doing his best Carlton Banks impersonation throughout this whole thing. I think he was trying to look like Mick Jagger, but was failing miserably. Hey, but listen, Sawyer Brown could sing, man. This whole group was great. This concert was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I mean, I'm not a big country guy, but you know, they had it going, and you know that Mark Miller looked like he was having a time of his life up there.
They performed Some Girls Do, where Jeff Jarrett's clearly lip singing throughout the whole thing. The folks at Sawyer Brown are not, but they get all the way through it, and Jeff Jarrett hits the Jackie Fargo strut, and then out of nowhere appears Steve Blackman, who hits him with the bicycle kick and then locks in the Uragai, and then Tennessee Lee just hits him with the guitar, and then Jeff Jarrett locks in the crowd and the figure 4, and the crowd starts chanting, "We want Flair," and Jerry King Lawler says, "These people are chanting for an encore." No, they're not. No, they're not. It was fine. Like, as far as WWF style concerts, it was probably one of the best. But like, I just didn't feel like we got anything out of it. It was what it was.
Didn't need it, but it was okay.
We go on to the Inferno match, which is kind of the main event of the evening, despite it not being the main event of the evening. King says, "Let's get prepared for this one, JR." And he pulls out a hot dog and some marshmallows. Keep in mind, we're about to watch somebody get lit on fire here.
Two marshmallows and one hot dog.
Yeah.
In a pretty
precarious situation. I wasn't even going to touch it, but I guess we could mention it.
Sorry.
I don't know why we keep doing this thing where we let Michael Cole and Kevin Kelly do voiceovers for dramatic matches coming up, but they're not good at them. Both entrances, listen, the recap is 6 minutes long. Both entrances combined were 5.5 minutes. So we're almost 12 minutes into this whole spiel from the last match before the bell even rings.
Yeah.
When it finally does, Jim Ross tells us it's been 8 months since we've seen Kane debut for the first time. So that's how long this build has really been leading up to. And obviously they got their hands on each other for the first time last month at WrestleMania, and this being the follow-up to it. But this goes pretty quickly from a jump-started standpoint. I guess you have to. Undertaker hits Old School, and the flames shoot about 8 feet up in the air. Like, whoever thought this was a good idea to just increase the flames with the high impact moves? Bad idea.
I will give him that the visual is pretty incredible. It looks pretty awesome. But yeah, it's not good for the ring because like as we
both guys are gassed in like 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine what it would be like to wrestle what Kane's wearing. Like Taker's bad enough with his whole get up on, but Kane's is all leather, got the mask on. I would hate to be commentators. Like I feel like they even hated this match because of how close they were to all the flames.
Well, then they start doing this thing where they start raising the flames for things like a Russian leg sweep and a kick to the stomach. And Kane gets the choke slam in after they both goozle each other's necks. He goes for a tombstone, but Taker counters it and hits a choke slam of his own. And once Kane sits up after this, it just becomes a no-sell fest. Like, that was dramatic. Taker hits the choke slam, and Kane sat up, and it was like, oh, okay, the Frankenstein monster is back. But then he starts like no-selling everything, and they get into the corner, and they hit a superplex spot where Taker superplexes Kane. Kane no-sells that. I get he's supposed to be the monster here, but like, this felt like a bit much.
Hey, maybe he was really freaking hot and he just wanted to go home and like get it.
I don't blame him, man. But Kane gets thrown over the top rope and misses the fire. Paul Bear tells the timekeeper and the people running the flames, raise the fire, raise the flames, raise the flames. They did it for a Russian leg sweep, but they can't do it on command when they're being asked to here. Like, the flame was supposed to go up, and it doesn't. And Kane goes up the rampway and is going to escape, but Vader comes out of nowhere. And at first I was like, what the hell? And then I remembered at the Royal Rumble, which was almost 2.5 months ago.
No way out.
Excuse me. Yeah, No Way Out. Kane hit Vader in the face with a wrench, and that's why he's out here. And he brings him back to ringside. Taker does his dive over the top rope onto both, but it wasn't as dramatic because the flames are literally about a half a foot high, and Taker's about 8 feet over them. But it was fine, and then Undertaker chases Paul Bear up the rampway after he hits Kane with a chair twice, and he puts Sawyer Brown's drum over Paul Bear's head, which breaks him open. Taker goes back down to ringside, and Kane is back up, and Taker gives him a big boot into the flames. You see Glenn Jacobs reach back with his non-covered hand and put his burning flesh right into the flames. But then his right hand, which is covered by a glove, catches on fire. And that's the end of it as Kane runs up. And you can see Taker gets back in the ring to hit what he calls Shakespeare, his pose. He had no desire to get back in the ring and do that.
I think they were pretty much done with this gimmick. And man, that was ballsy of him to have Kane run out with no fighters or anybody by him, like through the crowd. And not to mention the stage that they had like, I don't know, like grassy like stuff hanging from it. It was like,
yeah,
that would have caught when he was flipping.
Well, I'm pretty sure the reason they had Taker chase Paul Bear up the rampway was there's probably somebody underneath the ring, probably doctoring up Kane's glove at some point, not to ruin the magic or anything. But yeah, I'm with you. He was stumbling up the rampway for a while. That's a long ramp,
right?
We get the main event next. It's Stone Cold versus Dude Love. We get the full recap, really, of the Austin McMahon feud more than anything, along with the Dude Love stuff. And I mean, these guys were tag team champions not even 6 months ago. It really could have been more of a storyline here.
Yeah, I mean, they went in a different direction, and after they split from the tag team that they had going on. But if they would have had a little bit more time, I don't know. I still feel like they should have fed somebody else in this pay-per-view and then build.
Yeah, because the heel turn just felt rushed, man.
Yes, very much so. And but I will say, Dude Love's out here, and you're thinking Mick Foley, he's only going to be crazy when he's Mankind or Cactus Jack. He takes some seriously bumps in this match.
We will get to the meat and potatoes in a minute. The competitors come out, and listen, Stone Cold always starts most of his matches with a comeback, but I liked how the commentators made it make sense here, because Austin comes out like a ball of fire, and they reference that Vince McMahon hasn't come out, so Stone Cold is trying to get this thing over with before the owner of the WWF can show up. But this is about 3 minutes into the match, and then a body scissors happens, which allows Vince McMahon to come down to ringside and be fully featured as there's a rest hold happening in the ring. He sits at ringside next to the timekeeper, and he looks over and just kind of nods to Mark Eden a couple times to make sure he's making eye contact and understands what to do here. But Austin fights out of the body scissors and sees McMahon and gets lippy with him, which allows Mick Foley to get a roll up, and Austin kicks out of two. But Vince maybe jumps higher in the air than I've ever seen Vince McMahon move out of 2.5 count here. But I mean, he got some levitation off that chair.
Vince is a hell of an actor. I'll give him that
for sure.
He really puts the intensity and sense of urgency into what he's doing.
Austin drags Mick Foley over to the corner and uses the ring post a la Bret Hart to wrench his knee and his arm, and he whips Foley's leg, and I counted 9 times against the post, and just looks over at Vince McMahon every time. I don't know if Mick needed a break here or what was going on. They were clearly stalling for something, and JR starts talking bad about Vince McMahon, and Ross and Jerry Lawler says, you could be replaced if you don't respect the boss. And Ross says, hey, yeah, but the ratings have been better than they ever had, so it's as good as it gets for what it's worth. Like, JR may be looking for a pay raise during this match.
That was a great line, yes.
We're going to get to the ratings and the pay-per-view buy rate to this pay-per-view at the end here, but Dude Love gets the upper hand on Stone Cold and starts laying him out in the aisle, and Vince stands over Austin, telling him to get back in the ring and not be a chicken shit and get the easy way out with a count out. And Austin starts chasing Vince up the ramp, and Foley attacks him from behind. And Austin is left on the ringside area, and Vince is screaming at him, "Don't get counted out, you coward! Don't try to save your belt." And it's like, I really like how we never really made Vince the chicken shit heel during all this.
No, it was the best part of the whole thing, man. I don't know, because I wasn't really feeling a Dude Love Austin match, but the dynamics, especially with Vince down there, like I like him being the asshole cheerleader. Like,
it was great, yeah, because it wasn't like he wasn't like, yes, we mentioned the popping out of the chair and the celebration for the 2 count, but it was never like fully all in on hating Stone Cold throughout. I mean, obviously he does, but
right.
They left some room for it to be desired. And we get to the next spot here because on Raw, Steve Blackman was facing Dude Love in the main event. Dude Love put him in an abdominal stretch, and Vince singled for the bell. And that's why we've got this drama tonight. Austin gets in the ring. Dude Love hits the abdominal stretch, and Vince signals to the timekeeper to ring the bell, but Mark Eaton isn't looking at him. And while Vince is looking away, Austin counters it and puts the abdominal stretch on Dude Love, and Vince starts freaking out and telling him not to. I don't think that had the effect. Like, I thought it was a really good spot, but it went so quickly that I don't think it did what they were trying to achieve.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like maybe not at this point, but later on, move this spot to the end of the match. I would have had this end the match.
Like, I agree, or at least closer to what could have been a finish, because they go another 7 minutes here, and that's why I documented that, because I thought that it would have been better suited for what they were trying to achieve, because what they were trying to do is Vince was going to screw Austin, then Austin almost countered it to where Vince almost helped him, and it went so quickly it didn't get picked up, right?
Yes.
But they worked their way to the outside of the floor, and here's where the meat and potatoes of the night comes in, folks, because Stone Cold Steve Austin suplexes Mick Foley, not only on the outside, his legs hit the steel steps. You can clearly see Mick's calf hit the ring steps corner. It does not look like it's very enjoyable.
No, and I wonder if it was supposed to be more on his back, but maybe the bump he took off the stage earlier in the match.
Yeah,
he's like, nope, I'm just gonna take it all on the legs. But my God, he makes me want to like limp when I walk just by watching him.
Listen, they go back over the barricade, and then Dude gets thrown back and lands on top of the bell, the timekeeper's bell. What I thought was interesting is they get in the ring, and Dude accidentally takes out the official here, who's Mike Chioda. But on Raw, Vince said that Earl Hebner was going to be refereeing this match because he was the referee of the Montreal Screwjob, and Earl Hebner had a brain aneurysm legitimately before WrestleMania. And I wonder how much it was he was still recovering from that, and that he wasn't available for this. But he takes out Chioda here, and the Dude gets the mandible claw in on Austin, but Austin starts to fight out of it, and Dude Love hits a low blow on Austin to keep him down, and McMahon gets in the ring because Austin kind of kicks out of it and gets the better of Dude Love. McMahon tries to revive the official because Dude Love has got Austin down, and Austin back body drops Dude Love over the top rope. Austin grabs the chair that McMahon was sitting on and goes to hit Dude Love with it, and he rips it out of McMahon's hands. He tries hitting Dude with it and actually hits Vince with the chair at the top of the head, hits the stunner on Foley. Official's still down. Austin counts his own 3 count. So another screwy finish here. His music plays. We allow the fans to go home happy, but the announcer announces that Stone Cold Steve Austin has been disqualified after hitting a WWF official. Now, he gets disqualified, which means he keeps the WWF Championship, but that comes into play later in the week, or later in the next couple of weeks. But a stretcher comes out, and Vince has put in a neck brace, and Jim Ross reminds us that Vince has recently had neck surgery. Recently, as of 3 years ago, when he was on trial for the steroid scandal. but they literally take 9.5 minutes to put Vince on this stretcher. And it's clearly a cliffhanger for Raw, but like it's a pay-per-view. Just ended early. We didn't need to do all this.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just show taped footage on Raw. Like I think that's what you're alluding to. That was just so drawn out because once the Austin's music hit, I was like, all right. I was like, I gotta go do this and this.
Fade
and this.
to black.
Like, holy shit. I was like, there's still another 7 minutes left. Like but nice chair shot to the head. I laughed my ass off on the 3 count and just have his music play. It's a very Stone Cold thing, which it's the Attitude Era. We're gonna have a lot of screwy finishes. Just make him entertaining, like this one.
Yeah, it was like I guess that's the positive to it. What I thought was interesting was revisionist history tells us Mike Tyson, WrestleMania. They avoid the iceberg. They turn around. They start winning the war, and that's the catalyst. Listen. This pay-per-view did 309,482 pay-per-view buys. That's still quite a bit in 1998. Mm-hmm. That's over 520,000 less than WrestleMania. Now, this is a B pay-per-view, and that's understandable. But I wonder how much of their hand went back over the panic button when you're talking about doing 520,000 less buys with Stone Cold as champion in this pay-per-view.
Yeah, maybe that could have been the Tyson effect. Maybe people, didn't lose faith in WCW yet. Those are the stars that are established, and we kind of trust their formula. Like I don't know if that's what they're going for here, but we know it don't last long here because these numbers are about to skyrocket.
Well, let's go ahead and grade the pay-per-view. We're going to grade Unforgiven from 1998. Mike, I'll let you go ahead and start us off.
God, I hate doing the cop-out, stay in the middle thing, but I gave it a C+. Nothing great, nothing horrible. Okay, I mean,
there's a lot of bad stuff, man. Yeah. I gave it a D. I just felt like we didn't accomplish anything with this pay-per-view. We know we're going to get kind of into the championship hunt stuff with in kind of divert a lot of these guys in different directions here over the next couple of months. I just feel like this pay-per-view was just a filler for filler's sake. So I'm going to grade it the way they put it on paper. I'm going to give it a D, man. I just didn't think it was very good.
Hey, man, but we're 2 pay-per-views away from King of the Ring.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about that, and we'll definitely have a good grade for that one.
Well, hopefully you grade the show, this podcast better than we graded this pay-per-view. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Analyzing Attitude as our community continues to grow. We'll continue to give you top 5s and breakdowns of Monday Night Raws, and we haven't really decided what to do. We're still a couple years away from it when SmackDown decides to air. But we'll get at all that and more, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I've been Jimmie Allen. That's the good Dr. Mike Sweeney. Follow us on Twitter and on TikTok to keep up to date on everything happening on the channel. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.